Let me start it off officially. Shabbat Shalom. Erev Tov. Good evening. Manishma. What's up? I'm not that far yet. I'm not that far yet. I've been enjoying Hebrew class, if you can tell. Supplemental learning with Duolingo accelerates the process a lot. And I've got slides. That's the only way I know how to go. All right. So I'm going to get us started out with a little presentation map. I'm glad this clicker works from all the way up here. I was a little doubtful, but it worked out. So we're going to talk about, I'm just focusing on the Torah portion. There's some really cool Hebraic trivia, I guess, in the Torah portion this week. And then I'll focus on one thing, this new word that's introduced in the Torah portion. We'll talk about a case study that happens in 1 Kings. And then I'll wrap it up with the key ideas and takeaways, and then that'll be it. But I'd like to start us out with a joke. A joke. Clicker's broken. That's okay. If it doesn't work, that's fine. Just take it out. Okay. Hey, let's warm up with a joke. So a man named Joe is heading to a job interview. He gets there and the parking lot's full. There are no spaces open, so he starts praying. He says, "God, please provide me a parking space so I can attend this job interview." And then someone pulls out and the space opens up and he says, "Never mind, I found my own." If you take nothing else away, don't, hang on. Don't be like Joe. You should try to acknowledge the actions that God has in your life. All right, let's go into the first little bit. That one didn't work. That one didn't take. There we go. So, the first third of the portion is Leviticus 26, 3 through 13, where he promises the blessings upon the people of Israel: plentiful rain and produce, victory over all enemies, peace in the land. In fact, it said that 5 of you will chase 100, and 100 of you will chase 10,000, something along those lines. The people of Israel will be far stronger than any other person in the world. Protection from wild animals and enemies. There will be no wild animals to attack the people of Israel while they are in Holy Land. An increase in productivity and numbers. There will be more fruit produced per tree, so on and so forth. And he will dwell among us. He will put his tabernacle among us. Let's see if this works. Click. Hey. And then the curses portion, which is 26, 14 through 39, where he basically, to sum up in short, because there's a lot of curses, I will do everything in my power to keep you out of the land of Israel so that it can be paid its Shabbats. If we don't keep his commandments, he will drive us out with terror, wasting fear, chronic fever, unproductive crops, defeat at the hand of the enemies. The scariest one for me is extreme fear and anxiety, because he says a gust of wind will cause them to flee. I do not want to be that high strung, even though I'm above average high strung. Anyway, if we don't follow his commandments and don't allow our land to be paid its Shabbats, he will drive us out of the land so that it can be paid its Shabbats. And then the next third, very cool, is basically him saying, "I will never forget my covenant. My hand will always be outstretched, no matter how far you stray. As long as you turn back, I will welcome you with open arms." And that's, I pulled these two verses, Leviticus 26, 41 through 42. I wrote notes. I'm already lost. Leviticus 26, 41 through 42, and Leviticus 26, 44. The big one being the last one, yet in spite of all that, I will not reject them when they are in the lands of their enemies, nor will I loathe them to the point of utterly destroying them and thus break my covenant with them because I am Adonai their God. All right, so that is an overview of Torah portions for this week. Now, there is a cool thing. Slide. Thank you. Wonderful tech crew in the back making sure this all works. A new word gets introduced in this Torah portion, and it's only used in this Torah portion. Now, depending on where you go read the Hebrew version of this passage, this word may not be in there. I will go ahead and tell you I got this from Chabad.org. This word is in there, and that's where I got the idea for the message. Plus, I read some columns. I didn't want to come up here and just say something totally wrong. So anyway, this new word is called keri. It is used 7 times in this Torah portion. 7, that's an important number because it represents completeness. Or in this case, I think it represents the importance of the message being given. Like if you were to drive a point home, you would use that word 7 times. This word is used 7 times to drive the point home. And I'm pretty sure it is only mentioned in this Torah portion, nowhere else. Slide. Okay, and just for fun, I went and put all the different instances together, and you'll notice some of them have an extra letter in front. That is the letter bet. In this case, it's pronounced ba, so it would be bakeri, which means in happenstance. I didn't realize I put a spoiler in the slides. This word means happenstance. I'm not skipping over that stuff though. You're still gonna have to listen about it. Bakeri means in happenstance or with happenstance. It's basically a prefix to say, it's like how we just add in to make the sentence flow, right? All right. So the meaning of the word keri is clarified by commentaries on the Torah. And so I'll start first with Rashi, who states that his rabbis said that the word means irregularly or by chance. This is Sifra chapter 5, section 5, if you want to go look up what his rabbis had to say. Rashbam, which I need to clarify is not Rambam. This is Rashi's grandson who tries to defend most of Rashi's viewpoints. He has a more eloquent, let's say, way of explaining what the word is. He says that the word is derived from the root word korah, which is, hang on. I had it ready and then I forgot it. This is why we make speaker notes. And I didn't put it in the speaker notes. That's cool. So anyway, korah means encounter. I remembered it. Korah means encounter. And it's stated that the word keri is used in the context of Numbers 23:15. So in Leviticus, it's basically saying, if you walk with me as if your fate is subject to coincidences, totally arbitrary happenings, not subject to providence, as a person who walks haphazardly, not following a definitive direction, I think you get the point. Maimonides says keri means to view God's intervention as mere chance. I think we know what the word keri means by now. It is basically saying to treat God's interventions as happenstance, that they are luck. And I'd like to point out that is a great tie-in. My dad's favorite verse, Proverbs 16:33, which states that the lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. Meaning, every lot that is cast into the lap is from the Lord. Everything that happens is from the Lord. I'm jumping ahead of myself. Let me catch up. All right. This is how I've done it, so I'm going to keep doing it this way. We're moving on. There we go. So Briggs, who most of you have met, actually told me about this, and I thought it fit well, so I included it in my studies. I think this is a perfect example of the people of Israel treating God's interventions as happenstance. So this is from 1 Kings. It's about the worshipers of Baal. Some of you may know this story. Some of you may not. I'm going to quickly summarize. King Ahab married a woman named Jezebel, who was a stout Baal worshiper. Baal was a god of rain and fertility, promising good crops and such. King Ahab then starts, deifying Baal by building houses of worship and spreading him throughout the land, which angers the Lord. So Elijah is told by God, hey, you need to go confront Ahab and declare that there's going to be a drought, that I'm going to bring a drought. And the drought comes, and it's several years of drought. And throughout the whole time, Elijah keeps receiving information from the Lord saying, you need to go to this oasis if you want water. You need to go here if you want to continue to receive water. All the meantime, everybody else has a drought. There's no crops. Everyone's thirsty. It's not great. And then after the several years of drought go by, Elijah comes back and confronts Ahab, and he says, Ahab says, Elijah, why have you done this? And Elijah says, I have not brought this disaster. You did by spreading Baal throughout the land. And that's about it. I had something else queued up. I forgot it. We're going to move on. If I forgot it, it must not have been important. So after this basically outbreak, this tantrum, Elijah's like, hey, I have an idea. Gather everybody at Mount Carmel, and we're going to have a throwdown. And whoever comes out, that's the winner. Both religions, meaning our true God and their fake God, we will have a competition, a challenge. Both religions will prepare an ox on an altar atop Mount Carmel, and the God who answers with fire is the one true God. The prophets of Baal prepare their ox, and they start fervently praying. Several hours go by, and Elijah, he says, pray louder. Surely it's going to work, right? Nothing happens. They're praying so loud, their necks start turning red. They're fully exerting themselves. Nothing's happening. So then when they give up, Elijah says, everyone come over here. We're gonna fix up this altar. We're gonna put the ox on it. And then he prays and he says, Lord, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, today let it be known that you are God in Israel, and that I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Answer me, Lord, answer me, so that this people may know that you, Lord, are God, and that you have turned their heart back. And then, I think we know where this is going. The fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt offering and the wood, and then the stones and the dust, and he licked up all the water that was in the trench. And when the people saw this, they fell on their faces and said, the Lord, he is God, the Lord, he is God. Elijah flees because this angered Jezebel to no end. She declared that Elijah must be killed. So Elijah flees and he forms an army, and to shorten the rest of the story, wipes out all the Baal worship, and Ahab and Jezebel both perish. Even though the people of Israel had turned away from God and treated him with keri, like as in happenstance, the Lord never forgot his covenant. He always kept his hand outstretched and allowed the people of Israel to return to him, just as it was said in this week's Torah portion. Slide. There we go. It's working right. So, key takeaways. We should not act with keri. We should not treat actions that happen in our lives as pure luck or pure chance. Every action, every instance, every event that happens in our lives is put there by the Lord our God. It's like if you treat him with keri, it's like being in a one-sided relationship, only thinking of him when you need a favor, and then all the other times giving him the cold shoulder. But we live in a mirror relationship. If we grow cold, he grows cold. It's doubled. If we grow warm, he grows warm. We come together. No matter how cold we have been, though, we can always warm our relationship back up, and the tide can always be turned because his hand is outstretched, never forgetting his covenant. We should always try to acknowledge events in our lives being done through God, not through chance. And all of our moments in our lives happen for a reason, and it's up for us to acknowledge them and to maintain our relationship. I jumped the gun. Or to put it simply, don't be like Joe. That's all I got. Yeah, okay. That's it. Let me get out of here.
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Borei Bri Haggadah. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who created the fruit of the vine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Motzi Lechem ben Haaretz. Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who brought forth bread from out of the earth.
Thank you again, Ryan. And thank you, Dylan. Where do you go? There he is. Thank you, Dylan, for that presentation. And I expected the whole tech presentation, and you did not disappoint. So that was very good. Thank you for speaking to us tonight. Very good. And thank everybody for coming again. Everybody on Zoom for being here. And we wish you a peaceful and blessed Shabbat. If you'll please stand, Brother Pat is going to come and lead us in the Aaronic benediction.
The Lord bless and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you his peace. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Yar Adonai panav alecha v'yikunecha. Yis Adonai panav alecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Hey.